Hi everyone, my name is Tamit Saleh and welcome to this week's Tennis Tuesday Part 2. If you checked out my last video, Part 1, I spoke about the Asian swing which is fully underway now, looking at the Tokyo Open and the Beijing Open. And in this video, I'm going to be looking at the rankings and race, as of course, Novak Djokovic has passed Ivan Lendl and is now third all time for the most weeks at world number 1. He is on 271 weeks now. Can he catch up with Roger? Will Rafa have something to say about it? What are the remaining tournaments of this season? And who is going to be finishing at world number 1? That's some of the stuff I'm going to be looking at here. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe, as I don't know if you've been looking at it, but I am very close to the 1000 subs mark. So thank you very much for that support. I do release weekly tennis content. My last week's video were about the Laver Cup, is it a waste of time? And I did an ups and down video. So yeah, please do check those videos out. I'll be putting a link in the description and also up here somewhere. So yeah, moving on. In this video, I'm going to be looking at Novak Djokovic now being third in the all-time most weeks at world number 1. And just a little overview of the rest of the season. So without further ado, let's roll the intro.
Here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely
Novak Djokovic has passed Ivan Lendl now. A couple of weeks ago, he passed Jimmy Connors. So now he is third in the all-time most weeks at world number 1. Only Roger Federer and Pete Sampras have been longer number ones than Novak Djokovic, and they're not too far away now. They're well within his sight. Top of the list is Roger Federer, who has been world number 1 for 310 weeks, and in second place it is Pete Sampras, 286 weeks. Novak Djokovic a further 15 weeks behind now on 271. Looking at the rankings quickly, I'll just focus on the top 4. Novak Djokovic still number 1. Nothing's really changed in the past, well, since the US Open. Djokovic still world number 1, 9,865 points. Rafa Nadal number 2, 9,225. Roger Federer number 3, 7,130. And Daniil Medvedev world number 4, 4,965. To cap off the top 8, it is Team Zverev, Tsitsipas and Nishikori. In the race, however, this is where it gets interesting. Rafa Nadal is 1,960 points ahead of Novak, almost 2,000 points. Rafa is on 9,225. Djokovic 7,265. Roger Federer 5,510 and Medvedev on 4,875. All 4 of these players have confirmed their places at the end of year World Tour finals in London. And yeah, four more places are up for grabs, and the current players in the top 8 is Dominic Thiem, Tsitsipas, Roberto Bautista Agut and Berrettini. But where it's really heating up is the race for number 1. Rafa currently has a great shout to end this year world number 1. He is roughly 2,000 points ahead, and he has absolutely nothing to defend for the rest of the season, as this time last year his season he called it off because of a knee injury. Looking at that, Novak Djokovic has to amass these points. He has Shanghai to defend, then a final in a runners-up place in Paris, and then also a runners-up in World Tour final. So a lot of points to defend there for Novak. So let's look at the schedule for both Rafa and Novak until the end of the season. Novak is playing in Tokyo this week, a ATP 500 tournament, and then both of them are then going to play Shanghai, Paris and World Tour finals. So Rafa is playing 3 more tournaments, Novak is playing 4, which is why if Novak was to win in Tokyo, he could easily claw back 500 of those points, and it would put him in good stead to hold on to world number 1 for even a little bit longer. For argument's sake, let's say Novak wins nothing in Tokyo, so they both go into Shanghai. Novak will drop 1,000 points, so he'll be on 8,865. It would then mean that if Rafa was to win in Shanghai, he would then become world number 1 there. If Novak wins in Shanghai, even if Rafa comes runner-up, then Novak will at least hold on to his world number 1 until Paris. A win in Shanghai and Rafa coming runner-up would put Novak roughly 40 points in the rankings. So that would add another 3 weeks to his world number 1. Just to say, he's on 271 weeks now. That's confirmed. Next week is confirmed in Shanghai. So that will be his 272nd week as world number 1. If he can leave Shanghai still world number 1, then it will add 3 additional weeks to that tally, as he then can't lose it until end of Paris. And yeah, so it looks like Rafa, if he can win Shanghai or has a good run in both Shanghai and Paris, he will take over the world number one. For Djokovic to hold on to it, he'll most likely will definitely have to win Shanghai, probably have to win Tokyo, Paris, and potentially the World Tour finals as well. It would be a fantastic end of the season for him, especially after in so many tournaments this season it has seemed like Novak is prioritizing the Grand Slams. So if he does want that world number one spot, he will have to play to his full potential and win all of these tournaments. And the fun fact is, if Novak wants to get to that 287 weeks to overtake Pete Sampras, he will have to hold on to that number one until 20 of January 2020, which is funny as it also coincides with the beginning of the Australian Open. I'm not going to be looking at the Roger Federer 310 weeks in this video, as let's do it step by step. For now, he needs to look at Pete Sampras and trying to overtake him. That extra 16 weeks he needs at world number one for that, and then we can look at Roger Federer's record. This weeks at world number one is of course a massive record to have. It just shows you've been the best player in the world for the longest ever, if that makes sense. So it is a massive record. It doesn't make you the GOAT. Likewise, I believe having the most slams doesn't make you the GOAT. But these are big arguments for that GOAT debate. I will be looking at stuff like that in the future. But yeah, for this video, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the rankings. It does seem like to me now that Rafa will end the year as world number one. This will be his 5th year in number one if it does happen, which would tie him to his two biggest rivals, Djokovic and Federer. And if Novak can hold on to that world number one, he will then be tied with Pete Sampras at the top for most year-end number one finishes. It's going to be a thrilling end to the 2019 tennis season. Djokovic coming back from a shoulder injury. Rafa had to sit out the last day of the Laver Cup with a hand injury. Rafa has, this is an amazing fact that I couldn't believe when I read this. Rafa has never won Shanghai, Paris, or the World Tour finals. He's never won any of these big three tournaments. So I'm sure he'd like to at least tick one of these off in his bucket list. And if he wins one of these big tournaments, you'd feel like that's pretty much the number one spot wrapped up. Djokovic, like I've said, he'll probably need to win Tokyo, Shanghai, Paris, and the World Tour finals to keep that world number one spot. Or Rafa, if he starts losing in the second round, first round, earlier rounds, then he may give Novak a shot. Please do leave a comment below. I want to hear what you guys think. Who do you think will finish the year as world number one? Will it be Rafael Nadal or will it be Novak Djokovic? Will Novak Djokovic beat Sampras in this stint as world number one, or will he then maybe in the future need to become world number one again to beat it? Please do leave your comments. I love hearing what you guys have to say. As always, I try to respond to most, if not all, of your comments. And as I said at the beginning of this video, please do hit that subs button. I am very close to the 1,000 mark. So yeah, subscribe for future content like this and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. Thank you very much.
Game, set, and match. Game, set,